What's up, guys? It is Tuesday, the 26th. And man, today, I'm just going to throw a few things at you, right? There's market talk and there's all that kind of stuff we can get into. But before we get into that, let me throw some other stuff at you. So we have talked a lot about supporting Operation Underground Railroad. As you can see here, got the website here that shows our page where we have people donate. What we ask is those to match the donations that we do, which is $50 for every transaction that we close, which we have quite a bit going on there. Also, we've had quite a few people jump in here and click on this. You can see a lot of amazing people jumping in and helping us out, participating in this particular cause. And it's not just the folks you're seeing here. We're seeing a lot of folks that I've met with, that I've been standing in rooms talking about this on stage this last week, raised another 40,000. There's a lot of awesome things happening with respect to this. And I just want people to remember that we do this for a reason. We're cause capitalists, as I have been told recently, and I've shared with you guys, to be able to operate in the form for something greater than just income, to operate for something greater than just closing deals and getting your name on some sort of production report and all those things. Looking at this and seeing those who are jumping in here and participating at whatever amount. I'm not saying you have to drop in $5,000, $10,000. Those are all nice, but you can see $50, $100, people closing a deal and doing what we were talking about, which is when you close a transaction, which when we close one, we contribute $50 for every transaction, right? So that's getting into the hundreds of thousands of dollars. And it's for a cause nobody can argue with. We can all get behind, right? So the shirt that I also am wearing here, that's you see the quit jerking off and support OUR. Let me show you, this is available to you. If you don't want to just throw directly in there, you can go here to quitjerkingoff.com and you go to the shop. Where is, let me see here. Well, if you go to the main site, you'll see where across the top, the toolbar says shop. You'll go there, it'll take you to this particular page. Here's that shirt. It's $24.99. Every single dollar of revenue that comes off of this, every dollar of profits, put that way, above the cost of the shirt, goes to supporting OUR. We take that money and we give it to OUR. So if you want to go to that, go to quitjerkingoff.com, go to the shop button. You can see how that thing is. This is what I'm wearing now. I would just encourage you guys, some form or another, get something out of the deal, right? Support a bigger cause. So how do you, let's talk about, some people are like, well, everybody asked me to help everybody else. What about me? How come nobody's helping me? Well, let me share with you something that I stumbled across very, very recently. And now I'm not pointing, well, I am kind of pointing fingers, if you will. Here's the fingers getting pointed. But we got to think about this, right? We got to think about how are we, when we're looking for or questioning why we're not getting what we want, right? Look at this. Stumble into this thing. Sometimes people would really love to help you, but just because of your nature and behavior, they don't. Look at this. You got people standing around looking at a leopard. I'm guessing that's what it is. A leopard stuck its head into a bucket of sorts. Can't get it out, right? It fit in because of the way the shape of the head is, but the way that the back of the head doesn't come out very easy. I'm sure all these people would love to help that leopard out, but to do that, they have to tranquilize the leopard to make that happen, right? Think about that, right? How are you responding to people when you're in need of help? I remember when we go to church and we teach some young kids things. They ask me to teach these kids, these younger classes, get talking about that. And I'd ask them questions like, why do they say you have to be kind to other people? Or why are you told that we need to be nice to others and help others? And they say, well, it's because what Jesus said. Sure, I'm not saying he didn't, right? Man lived a type of life, a pure example. In fact, you never saw where he got in an argument or fight. There's no documentation other than when there was the point there where people were defiling the temple, right? Then that's when you start to see the anger come out. But outside of that, arguments, didn't argue, didn't get into fights with people. Just because people disagreed didn't mean that they have to argue, and he embodied that, right? But that's not why, right? What I had to explain to these young kids was when you treat people nicely, they reciprocate, right? When you're the type of person that everybody likes, you will always get help. When you're the type of person that treats people like crap and always want, what are they going to do for me, right? Why, you need to earn my whatever, whether it be trust or your business or whatnot. or you need to pay me a certain thing to do even anything, right? I mean, there's that thing going on too. We start looking at what's going on in our economy. People saying that they need to get paid to do the most minuscule of tasks. Nobody can do anything extra for anybody unless there's a massive paycheck at the end of it. When you're that type of person, nobody wants to help you. In fact, they can't wait to see you take a header into the concrete. They can't wait to see your face bounce off the hard ground and just chuckle a little bit as they walk by. Think about how you are before you start demanding of other folks. Then think about what it is that you are using as far as your resources to help other people. Those are some things that we need to be cognizant of all the time. So market stuff, let's get in there. I'll get off my soapbox, quit the preaching here. So we are hearing a lot of stuff about the Fed talking about tapering. That tapering will start possibly in December. Now, when we're talking about the taper, what does that mean? Right? The Fed's buying upwards of, I'm hearing $30 and $40 billion a month of mortgage-backed securities. But when they're buying into those securities, they're using lots of different resources. Now, one thing to remember, I don't know that that's going to completely dry up when they taper it down to where they stop those new purchases. They still are reinvesting the capital that comes in from the holdings that they have. That's something that they refer to as net neutral. Right. So they already have a certain amount of mortgage-backed securities, right? Those mortgage-backed securities are going to pay them a payment of some sort. And with that payment that they receive, they're going to buy more securities with it, keep that flowing. So be aware of that. So we're still always going to have their influence in there, but it's not going to be somewhere it's going to automatically dry up and completely change everything. But we're still going to see some effect in the market. We're seeing effect now, like what we talked the other day with respect to, we had Scotty Bear on, we had Dave Bennett on here, and we talked about what was going on in the market. And we're looking here at continuing down those same paths, right? We're seeing the mortgage-backed securities when it comes to owner-occupied. We found since Friday, we found a little bit what appears to have been a bottom. It went into the support territory, came back up. Now we're trading right there, right between support and resistance. So technical levels, keeping it in that particular realm is going to be harder for it to go up, but also reasons for traders to jump in when it gets down to that support line and keep pushing it sideways. Now, as you can see, the 3.5, which is what we're watching for the investment properties. 3.5 coupon, meaning we're going to be somewhere right around the higher threes, lower fours for the actual rate, because there's going to be a margin in there to cover all the expenses in the middle with all the people that touch the deal. So we look like we're sitting actually in really good shape when you consider that we're above all moving averages presently. We're right in the middle of this channel. Today's negative movement this morning, but for the most part, it's staying in a fairly aggressive place. I still anticipate rates to go up a little bit, continue to tick up here and there. But again, it's nothing we need to stress about. With what we got going on, inflation is through the freaking roof. It's going to keep going up. I don't see anything that they're changing. In fact, the Fed, the only thing they can do to curb inflation is to raise rates. And they're not going to do that because they don't want to affect what's going on with the supply chain issue. So until that clears itself up, I think they're going to keep rates where they're at on the short term. And then we're going to see the mortgage-backed securities driving what happens with the interest rates for us buying and using leverage for housing. Thank you guys, and we'll talk to you again on Tuesday.